What is going on, people? Welcome to the On a Level podcast, episode 24. I know it's been a minute since we've done a podcast episode. I actually planned a couple. I actually recorded a couple, should I say, recently. And yeah, they weren't great. I did one with Spyro and Zach. And it was like a storytelling thing, but looking back, it was a bit dead. I can't lie, it was just a bit dead. And I recorded one with an artist, but they requested me to not put that out because of something that they talked about. They didn't want to reveal it yet, so we'll re-record that at a later date and kind of switch the topic that we was talking about. And then in between that, I've organized things with a couple artists, one videographer, but it just hasn't come about. People just different plans. One of them was on my behalf, just getting the time zones wrong, and just, yeah, it's been a whole shit show to try and get a podcast episode out, but we are here, episode 24. We're gonna be rocking it on our J's today by myself, so I don't know how long this will be. This could be like a 25-minute episode, this could be 45 minutes, this could be an hour. We could be here for a minute, so we're gonna see. I'm not gonna put a limit on anything. Obviously, you'll know by the video being out right now. Yeah, thank you for all the support recently. Some people have even asked where the podcast has been. Some people have been asking, where is the podcast? I really enjoy it, and I appreciate the people who do support the thing, because I know it doesn't get the craziest amount of views, but people do enjoy hearing my thoughts and opinions more in depth, more in a raw form. You know, obviously when I do my breakdowns on tracks and things like that, obviously it's chopped all together, so people like hearing it in this more laid back style, where I'm not getting things wrong as often, because recently we've been getting some things wrong in videos, and we'll talk about this. I might make this a new segment. I might make this a regular thing every time I do a podcast, or at least here and there. And we're gonna, you know what we're gonna call it? We're gonna call it Chazza Don't Know What He's Talking About. And so this week on Chazza Don't Know What He's Talking About, Chazza don't know what he's talking about when it comes to TNs in West Sydney. So in the week, I reacted to Brother's new track, Trendy, and I really fuck with the song. Let me just make that clear. I really like the song. And even during the reaction, I was saying that. And I was also saying, but the reason I'm not enjoying it is because I don't believe these, man. Obviously, they're like, we were the first to rock TNs. And I'm like, big man, that's a UK thing. Don't tell me you weren't, but obviously, I've got to remember that Nike as a brand isn't just in the UK. I know this, and I didn't make that clear, and so obviously I've made the claim that no, the UK started this before any of you man in Australia did. If anything, some people in Australia, if not all of you, are copying the UK. But according to you guys, I've been told off. I've been told off. According to you guys, they were doing this as early as like the early 2000s. Obviously, these men being from Lebanon and some other Middle Eastern countries, they're known for doing this. So, you know, no one really argued with that fact. People were like, nope, these were the first man to really be rocking it in Australia, especially West Sydney. So West Sydney started that trend, specifically people from the Middle East who migrated over there, or from a Middle East background at least. And this is the information according to you, man. So now if you tell me that I'm wrong, no. Now I'm going off of what majority of you, man, saying. I had a bunch of DMs, a bunch of comments on my video. When I even read the comments on the actual video, people were agreeing. They're like, you know what? I can't even argue with it. Yeah, you, man, were the first to be doing that. So I apologize to anyone who I may have offended. It's a weird one with me, because people are like, you know what? Stop being so, what's the word? Stop tiptoeing round something. If you want to say something, say it with your chest. I go and say something with my chest and I just get it completely wrong. So, you know, but as I've said plenty of times before, I'm not afraid to get things wrong. That's the whole point in this channel. I don't do my research beforehand. I go in fresh. I'm going off the knowledge off the top of my head. I apologize, I got something wrong. We move on. I know it's not the end of the world, but I think this might be a regular thing, because whether it's a car brand or where something started or the name of somebody, I'm always getting something wrong. So let's make this a regular thing, so I can then do my 2-minute apology and correct myself, and catch myself for a minute, because yeah, I mean, yeah, just got it wrong. Just is what it is. But either way, we're here for the podcast today, and we are here to, I think people know what we're here to talk about. Obviously, it's going to be the title of this podcast no matter what, and we're going to be talking about OneFour. Now, this has been a huge talking point over the last couple days. There's been a lot of people that are giving their opinions, whether that's the fan base as a whole, whether that's the people from the scene, whether that's artists themselves. A lot of people have chipped in on this one, and I have mixed emotions about it. I'll say that right off of the bat. I have mixed emotions. There's no denying that OneFour have had an incredible year. There's no denying that. They have launched Australian drill into the atmosphere. They have created a buzz worldwide for people, including myself, across the other side of the planet that are tuning into every little thing that they're doing. Whenever I mention about Australian rap reactions to people, which isn't often, but to be fair, whenever I do, people are like, 1 minute, isn't that OneFour crew from Australia? And it's the first name that people tend to bring up. And as much as I love Alex Jones and Flows and Chillin' It's, OneFour is the name that these men bring up. And so OneFour have just done incredible things this year. And so for those who do not know, first off, I'm going to put a disclaimer. Some of this information may be incorrect. I am basing this information based off of multiple DMs or comments or things that I have read on the internet. I have not spoken to any of the OneFour members themselves or anyone who is proven to be affiliated with them. So this is all information and some may be speculation. But YP is the biggest talking point of it all. YP is locked up. So is Lekks. YP and Lekks both got locked up on the 4th of December, to people's knowledge, or that's when the news broke out at the very least. Apparently, Celly put up a picture of him in court, of YP in court. And JM's said on Insta, he said, "Free my bro, free YP, free the boys." So YP is locked up for 4 years apparently, and Celly has 10 years for a stabbing incident plus more because of this incident. Now this incident is a brawl incident. There has been CCTV footage released. I won't put it up here. If you want to find it, I'm sure you can find it somewhere yourself. And it's basically man smoking in a shisha bar. They're lurking outside, and then man go in and fuck up the ting. Man go in and fuck up the thing. Or if I got that mixed up, maybe I've got that mixed up. Because there was also footage of people in a casino, and people went in a casino and fucked up the thing. So I apologize because I've got them mixed up now. But either way, to do with GBH and assault incidences. So Lekks is getting locked up for an assault with a hammer that happened like last year or something. So he's getting 4.5 years, and apparently he's pleaded guilty to GBH and assault charges. JM's is obviously not locked up, but is currently stuck in Oz. Apparently he can't leave the state. He can't perform in New Zealand. He can't perform anywhere outside of Australia. And obviously the boys have had their shows locked off recently. A lot of their shows are being shut down straight away. And so, yeah, in terms of all the individual details, I'm going to just kind of skip over because I don't want to get many more things wrong. I think I've already got some things wrong. I'm sure somebody in the comments will correct me and lay it out. Can somebody put like bullet point all of the things, and I'll pin up a comment. If your comment makes sense and people start thumbsing it up, I'll probably pin it up so that people can have accurate information. But yeah, to my knowledge, YP Lekks is locked up. Celly was already locked but has now had more years added onto his sentence because of this brawl. And yeah, it's not looking too hot right now. And so I wonder if YP taking off his mask had anything to do with it, or if it's just the unfortunate timing. Some people have speculated that he took off the mask knowing that he was going to get locked up, so he's like, you know what, fuck it, if I'm going to get locked up, I'm going to just reveal the thing. But I don't think that makes sense, from my opinion anyway. I just hope that him taking off the mask didn't breach any bail or any, I don't know, any kind of hold that the feds had on him. I hope that wasn't anything to do with it, because obviously most people were saying, oh, he took off the mask because he beat Case. Like, his case is done. He's a free man now. Like, he don't need to wear a mask. But then it's very coincidental that only a couple weeks later he's now got pinched, basically. So I don't know if that has any relation into what's happened here. But this is a talking point that I wanna focus on just for a minute. And this is where I have mixed emotions. Some people, a lot of people, in fact, are saying free YP, free the boys, free the OneFour boys, free them all. You've got some other people that are saying, you know what, if you do the crime, you do the time. Like, what do you expect? You've gone in to a public place where there's CCTV cameras and you've gone and fucked up the base. What do you expect? And this is where I feel mixed. I agree with both to certain extents. Now, Husky put something up on his story and he mentions a very relevant point that I definitely struggle to disagree with. And he says, you know, he said something about, you know, these boys are locked up, fair enough, but there's pedos and there's people that are on fucking sexual assault and rape charges that only get like 6 months. And shit like this is true. I'm sure, now again, another moment where Chaz is probably wrong. I'm sure I read something last year or maybe a couple years ago about someone who went to court for like rape charges on like multiple people. And he ended up getting away with it and with like a $400 fine and like a little bit of like a community service or some shit like that, or counseling. And it's like 3, 4, 5 victims were like, he did this, like scarred for life because of what my man did, and he got a $400 fine. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I think it was in America. And so you read shit like that and then you compare it to this and you're like, that makes no sense. But obviously, you can't just not give out time just because of one incident. And this is where it becomes a whole shit show. Yes, when you compare the two things of them rushing someone who probably were asking for it, probably provoked it, whatever it may be, compared to someone who did that unprovoked. And so when you compare that, it seems very unfair. But you can't then base every crime and every breach of the law based off of one bad case. I feel very mixed because I want to say free the boys because I enjoy the fucking music. YP has created some of the most memorable moments in the Australian scene, let alone Australian drill, in the Australian scene to come out of Australia, period, this year. Lekks being a crucial member of the crew. Celly being locked up long enough as it is and now has extra years added on top. I want to see OneFour do their thing because they have done monumental bits this year. But at the same time, they've fucked shit up. Now, I don't have an exact date on when some of these incidences happen. I know the assault with the hammer happened last year or over a year and a half ago. This brawl that is the main reason why they're getting locked up. I don't know when that happened. I don't know if that was recent or if that was months ago or if that was years ago. Part of me hopes it was a couple years ago. And the only reason I say that is because if that happened recent, let's say August the 1st, just throwing a random date out there. Let's say this happened back in your winter or our summer. Let's say this happened back in winter. Only a few months ago when, they've had the message released, they've had Spot the Difference released. It wouldn't make sense for them to go and do something like that. It wouldn't make sense. And if they have done it in that time period, then I am more on the side of, nah, I ain't saying free the boys, you fucked that up for yourself. I will say that. Because you realize what position you are in. The affiliations and the deals that you're getting. Doing shit with JD and Vice. And probably way more things in the works. Doing your own tours and your own shows. For you to then fuck that up. Then I have a lot less sympathy for the situation. I will have more sympathy and I'll feel for these man way more if this happened a couple years ago. Or if this happened before they blew up. Let's just say this happened pre-2019. I'll have way more sympathy for these man. And not that my sympathy counts for anything, you know. These men are locked up. That's real shit. Like, they ain't around their family. They ain't around close friends. With the music thing, I know they did a charity event only recently. I believe that was the one with HP Boys. And so, when they're trying to have a positive effect like that, then I feel for them. Because they've done shit when looking around, it looks like they had nothing. You know, like that. Like, man are doing shit in the hood because they feel like they've got nothing else. There are men that are robbing jewelry stores unmasked because what? They've got nothing to lose. Either they walk away with the bag or they get locked up, and being locked up is probably better than the situation they're currently in. For some man being locked up, it's safer to be locked up than it is to be on the streets for some man. They eat better when they're locked up than when they're in their own yard because they've got fuck all. And so if they come from that situation and they're doing a madness because the ops provoked it, the ops looked at them the wrong way, they said the wrong thing, they added the wrong man. When they've got nothing, absolutely nothing to hold them man back from doing a madness like that, and the repercussions have come at this unfortunate time, I'm gonna feel for them. And I feel like context is important here, and I don't have enough of it to say it with my chest. And so, them man going into a place that you should know it has cameras. You should know there's CCTV. Half of them weren't masked up either. It was just hoods up. Witnesses in the thing, by the way. That's just a dumb move. It just is. It's a dumb move for sure. Now, I don't know if Lekks was masked up because of that. I don't know if YP was masked up because of this. I don't know how long they've been dealing with this for. I know they got caught a couple months back, but was released after a couple days out on bail. I don't know if there was more evidence given. I don't know enough of the details, and I feel like that's very, very important to give context, because I feel like that changes people's opinions a lot. It does for me. I know there's going to be people that represent the OneFour crew no matter what. There's going to be man backing them no matter what, innit? And then there's going to be people that no matter what they do, no matter their purest of intentions, they're going to say, nope, you deserve to be locked up. I come from a place where there's worse. There's worse for sure. But it's hardly safe out here. And so there's man that are in a situation just like me that have nothing to lose. Nothing. Bar their own pride. And so somebody looks at them the wrong way, they're willing to fuck man up, innit? Because it's a road thing, innit? What? Am I a dickhead? Am I gonna hold this L? And when you come from nothing, when your pride is the only thing you've got, that is everything. By a man saying suck your mum, that is everything. And so, retaliation is a must. Ain't no maybe ifs or buts. You know, like that. But there's also man that are in a good situation right now. They've got music on their side. They're starting to generate money. They've got a fan base. They've got a buzz. They can probably start hitting up who for features? They collabed with AM and M24. They collabed with UK artists. Harlem Spartans acknowledging them. Like, listen, from that point of view, it's an L if you retaliate. If you're in a good position, let's say they're... See, this is what I'm saying. The context is so important because if they're in a good position and they feel the need to go fuck my man up, you gotta stop and think for a second. Okay, man provoked something. Let's say my man did a madness. From a road perspective, you can't have that, but from a music, from an industry perspective, from a legacy perspective, you can't go do something like that. There's too much to lose, because you got more than pride then. You've got a source of income. And for these, man, that's bringing your family through as well. This isn't just you buying a bust down watch. This is buying your mum a yard. This is helping your younger siblings fund fucking education or fund a business, or just making sure they've got a little extra so they don't have to struggle. So they don't have to be in a situation that you was in. So you don't have to watch your younger brother grow up and do the same thing as you. Because you did it because you had to. But they don't have to. And so I'm not trying to guilt trip these men into the decisions that they have made. But I am a little bit mad if they did this full well knowing the music thing was working. If this happened before they blown up, that's when I sympathize a bit more, because maybe they were looking around and thought there was nothing else bar their pride. And so that's why I have mixed emotions. That's why, as much as I want to say free the boys, for musical purposes only, I don't want to see them come out and do a madness. I want to see them come out and focus on music. Carry the scene forward. Because let's be real, they have fucking carried a bag of man this year. They have put West Sydney on the map. And artists can talk about putting places on the map. No, they really put West Sydney on the map. They put fucking Australia on the map to a worldwide audience. A worldwide audience. Do you understand the impact that these men have had? And so the rise and fall of OneFour in the space of 12 months. Let me check this now. Let me check this real quick. When they release Shanks and Shivs, when did that drop? That dropped 10 months ago. That dropped on their official page. 1 second. Shanks and Shivs. Why is it not giving me a date? Oh, January 29th. So 11 months ago, that was the first song that they really started gaining traction on, in my opinion. So if these incidences happened in the last 11 months, I'm a little bit more mad. If this happened last year, boy, then it comes back to that debate of what? So anyone can go fuck up whoever they want in a public place where there's CCTV with witnesses and expect to just get away with it. I struggle to fight that argument. Even if it's provoked. 2 wrongs don't make a right and all of that shit. But as someone like Husky's mentioned, I'm sure plenty of other people mentioned, there's people doing way worse that are getting away with shit. But what does that mean? What? So anyone who does a crime that's not as bad gets away with everything? It's such a difficult case to fight. So I'm going to stop debating and speculating more until I have further knowledge. I might talk about this again. I might not. I might leave this where it is. Obviously, I do not know any of this information 100% true because I have not seen it with my own eyes. Being across the other side of the world, I've only got the internet to rely on, and the internet spews around a lot of shit, let's be real. And so, I'll segue it into this. To any artist right now that is in a good position, don't let the hood drag you down. I'm not one of these man here to sit here and say, it's a broken system. The government want to tie you down. But if there's one thing I'm sure about, is the hood don't want you to leave, innit? Because as much as we can try and make something of ourselves to try and get out the hood, there's always that pride thing of I want to stay in the hood. Some man can't leave the hood. Some man may move out of it, but they'll never leave the hood. They'll never leave where they grew up from. And I think it's important to remember, but I also think it's important to be able to disconnect when there needs be. I think it's important to remember where you're from in terms of family and the people you grew up around. The places that you been as a child, the places that you grew up with, and the culture that brought into your life. I feel like that's a very important thing. But I also feel like there's a line that you have to draw, especially when it comes to road shit, innit? Especially when it comes to gang shit. People need to stop warring over a postcode. That's one thing I'm going to say with my chest. There are men that are really out here in war with each other over a number, over a code that they don't own. You're warring over a street that you do not own. There are men that don't even pay rent where they live, and they're warring over their household. Now, what you war about, what you fight about, can be for different reasons. If you're fighting to protect your family, I'm with you 100% of the way. What? You want to touch my brother? You want to step to my cousin? Then I believe in road shit. Then I understand it. A man can't have you do that. But if you're warring because, what? Somebody from a different area walked in your postcode that you don't own, that half you man don't pay rent on, that's stupid shit in my opinion. Yeah, there's the whole thing of they disrespect me, so we can't have that. We've got to retaliate. Again, that road mentality of, what, am I a dickhead, blood? And so, where does that leave us then? Because if we're out here doing anything to protect our families, that could have been the man in the brawl incident. He touched my bro, like my friend, my brother from another mother, my uso. He disrespect my man, or he got my man. Cause let's be real, there's been murders in this thing. What? So you murder my boy, and we've got to hold that L? This is where road shit, gang shit becomes a very, very sticky situation. Because once you're in it, do you know how hard it is to step out of that? I'm not going to pretend like I've been on gang shit, but I've definitely walked on a fine line of road shit. Now, that's not for me to talk about. That's not for me to glorify. There's a reason I didn't step over that line, because I know once you go there, you know how fucking hard it is to come back. There are some people on roads that fucking have PTSD from the shit that they're doing. Some of these men are young. You've got 10-year-olds out here with machetes. Like, what? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They think they know what they're doing. You have no fucking idea. You may know how to hold a thing. You don't know what the repercussions are. And I don't think 99% of men that are on gang shit or on road understand the repercussions that come back. To any young person or anybody, just anybody that feels like they are on that fine border of touching road shit, let me tell you something now. If you want to do that, there is nobody stopping you. If you are in a situation now where you feel like you have nothing but your pride, what I was talking about before, you only have your pride. You've got a shit situation at home. You got a shit situation when you step outside your home. I get it. Like, I really fucking get it. You feel like there's nothing else. And you've got an older right now that's telling you, look, come over to our side, shut a little food for us, become one of us, we'll take care of you. For some people, That's their only sense of belonging. They might have a shit family life. They go to school. Obviously, they don't get it. Then the teachers are having a go at them and saying, oh, you need to The man don't want to listen. They've got an older, someone they look up to, telling them, I can teach you how to make a quick pinky. I can show you how to secure a bag within a week. Versus, what? You got to learn something that you're never going to use in your life. Then they go home, and for some people, they ain't got a loving family to go back to. They ain't got 3 hot meals to go back to. They don't sleep 8 hours a night. So the bag that can buy them the TNs, that can buy them the tracksuits, that can buy them the designer gear, and all the nice things to go along on the side. You can see how that life is enticing. And I can understand that. But understand, if you want to get out of that situation, it ain't that easy. Because it's so easy to get into that life, and it's so difficult to step out of it. OneFour, some of the OneFour members here, this is a prime example. They might, this is purely speculation. They might have done all of these things. This is just what's captured, by the way. They might have done everything that they did. Started doing the music thing, realized that started picking up and thought, you know what, we got to allow the beef shit for a moment. But let's turn that into a positive. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we've really lived and put that into music. Because we don't want to lie. We're going to keep it real. This is what we have lived. This is what we have been through. And so they talk about that in the music. And they flip that road mentality. They flip that hood shit into something positive. They start doing shows. They start feeding their family. They start doing charity shit even. But the hood don't want you to leave. And so the repercussions come back. And the more successful they are, the higher they climbed, the harder they fall. They fell. I can't speak, but you get the point I'm making. These men reached new heights. And at the peak of their shit right now, the whole base has been fucked up. Now, I'm not saying OneFour as a brand can't continue, but you sure well know if these men don't get freed up, this ain't the same. You know it ain't the same without YP and Lekks. You know it ain't the same without Celly. JM's fucking kills the thing. Spenny kills the thing. But there's only so far them two alone can carry it. Now, maybe there's other members that are going to step in. And I hope they can carry OneFour as a brand forward. But let's be real, you know it ain't going to be the same. And so where do they go from here? Where do they go from here? Because they've had such a successful year. For it to all end like this? They could have been trying to get out of the hood shit by doing something positive. But the hood don't want you to leave. And this is where they've been dragged back down, put back into a system. You got to remember, they did this without signing a deal. They did this off their own backs. They created their own buzz, worked with the right producers, the right videographers, the right people around them, the right management, I assume, and got into such a good position. But road shit that they may have done from years back has dragged them back down. So I say to any young person, I say to anyone who feels like they're on the verge of getting into this shit, I'm not telling you not to. Because I understand you may have nothing else. Just understand, if you want to leave, it might not allow you to. If you want to start doing music, if you are someone who's ready to start doing music, I beg you to stay away from situations. Hold your L. Hold it. Wear it with your chest. And stunt on, man, when you can perform, when you can go tour, when you go put out a successful album. That's how you stunt on people. That's how you retaliate. That's how you can do a thing. If you got someone right now that has one up on you, on a pride thing, on an ego thing of, am I a dickhead? Man can't take me for a prick. What? My man gets to say this to me or do that to my guy and I'm just going to allow that. Just think, especially if you're trying to do music or anything with your life for that matter. If you're trying to build a business, do you think they're going to allow you to do business when you got a criminal record? That shit sticks with people, you know. And so, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some people that may say you don't understand or this is just my opinion. And so, like I said, I have mixed opinions. I have mixed emotions about the whole situation. I just hope whatever happens, happens for the best. I hope that this is the last of the bad luck. You can't even say luck. It is repercussions of previous actions. I hope this is the end of bad news for them. That's what I hope. I hope going forward now they can sort out this situation. OneFour can carry forward as a brand. I hope for people like YP and Lekks and Celly, I hope their families are being taken care of by now because they sure earned a bag. I don't know how much they reinvested into that. I'm not saying they're rich because they might have reinvested a lot of that back into the music thing. And if so, it was the smart move. But now look, we're in this situation here. So I'm wishing to the best to anyone who is affected by this anyway. It'll be interesting to see how people like 21 go forward. How people like Hevs, people who had beef with OneFour, be interesting to see how they carry themselves forward. I'm sure there's going to be shots sent very, very soon. I hope people like JMs and Spenny can figure out some sort of a plan going forward. But yeah, it's just an example of be careful what you get yourself into because you can see the repercussions it has later on. But I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about it. Feel free to debate with other people. Obviously, understand that people are gonna have different opinions in it. So yeah, let us know. If you want to vote in the unofficial Aussie Awards ceremony thing that we're going to be doing, OneFour are on pretty much every list or someone affiliated with OneFour on that list. So feel free to click the link down in the description and vote for the people who you feel did the best in each category. And we're going to do a roundup end of year video. So if you're watching this anything after a week of this being uploaded, probably don't bother with that. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support recently. I'm going to try and get the podcast back in to a regular swing. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll talk to you, man, later.